Okay, yo, yo, yo to the yo, yo, yo. And for you, I made it. Maybe, I don't know, 2018, I'll come up with some other fun way of saying hello. Hello. Okay, welcome to the Bitcoin Overnight Viewer Growth Hack, night number 3. And just for the next hour, I'll be kind of, skimming around and looking at things and trying to sort some things out about building the bot and going through some more narratives, cleaning those narratives up, and doing more of my whiteboard of, what do I need the bot to do to best serve the reader. And this is kind of, it's difficult because I can be looking at it and know exactly or precisely what's going on. But to translate that and make sure that the narrative or the transcription of what's happening is accurate enough to be useful. So, it's that's what we're gonna just kind of, do. It's early Sunday morning. It's 2:06 on the East Coast of the United States of America. And I'll be popping up my chat in just a moment because I do get people that drop by just to say hello, and also thank you to the replay viewers. I really appreciate you stopping by and being counted by YouTube. So you're probably like thinking, overnight viewer growth hack, like what in the world? Well, on YouTube, even though I'm in a very hot topic, sector, and I can probably do some more clever things with tags and pushing out the material a little bit more with those kinds of growth hack. But the bottom line on YouTube, if you do not have 10,000 lifetime viewers, 10,000 lifetime views, and that you really, they don't, want to be crass. I don't want to be crass about it, but they really don't, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I've had this conversation with people before, if you had been following me from, the spring of 2013, even the spring of 2012, and you had been following me, then there's no doubt that a few of you would see the value. But I believe that, we all have value. I am not someone that doesn't think that way. But this particular sector is rather raucous and crass and crude and unkind for reasons I have no idea. In a very, very serious, deep way, I have no idea what is going on with all of that, where the fun in that is. I just don't get it. There's been a lot of accusations or what would you call it, like murmurings, that I come into these communities and try to police. That could not be, that is so far from the truth. Now, what you might have experienced with me is that, when people are mocking each other, or maybe they've decided that a cryptocurrency isn't active enough, so they go into some of the gambling sites and take their eyes off of the the deep learning that's needed in the crypto space. When there's a double standard, when someone will say something and then 5 minutes later, just because someone else has come into the community, they'll say something else. A lot of disingenuous stuff. It's not me. There's also something that I can't bear is finding out that a trader who needs all of this help and needs, all of this, will take it, and then you'll talk to them the next day and they fell asleep in a trade. So, if you've run into my brand of discipline and you think that that's policing or bossing you around or trying to tell you what to do, you need to get a life about all that, because that is not what's been happening. And I'm going to tell you why it's not happening. Why that's just not true, is that you're still doing whatever you want to do. I think the fair thing is let me do what I do. I've said this before. Let, you know, I accept you for where you're at. So what I would ask is the same in kind. We all have a place in space. We all found it differently, maybe. We all come from different backgrounds, maybe. We are not similar. I don't think that there's one person that can say that they're just like that other person, because there's money involved. And in my life, I've never met two people that thought the same precise way about money. So when you have that going for you, then just all of um, the the disgusting talk that's around me and my persona on the internet, that's just all it is. It's disgusting noise. And good luck with how that works out for you, because the trade, as I've said also, the trade will show you who you are. I can guarantee you that. So, and maybe I'll just do this for an hour and just kind of get it all out, because some of the stuff that I heard last night, I'm not very happy about. And what's really unique about me is that I plan on doing something about it. That whole ignore and move on, it's good for the community, that's a bunch of bullshit right there. Okay, ignoring you means that I have to be ignorant about you, and I'm not going to do that. You find some fascination in bringing me up in these conversations, and then you have these ideas about me and want to play power trips on me. Guess what? I'm not ignoring you, because that makes me ignorant of what you're doing and what you're up to and what kind of BS you're trying to sell other people, right? So I'm just not going to do it that way. And I've never done it that way. I've tried to do the play along thing, and all it does is work out for the person that asked me to play along. It's never worked out for me. It's worked out for them, though. And that's the thing. It's like, you guys get what it is that you want. And it's just kind of like, come on now. Don't pay me any attention. And you don't need to be that fascinated. Follow my track record. You really don't have to be that fascinated with me. I'm never going to be managing your money. You're never going to be buying a product from me. I'm never going to be shilling you. I'm never going to, and I say this in my disclaimer, is that if there was ever a relationship, an affiliate relationship, you would know about every single action, mood, who to contact, if I misbehaved or if I did anything that was against their terms of service, as an example. Because I have a really hard time believing that some of these people that are selling you on an affiliate, that the companies that they're getting paid, that they understand the culture of the individual that they're paying, the personality of the person that they're paying. Some of it's like really bad, and it's gonna all, well, probably a lot of it will probably get exposed over the next couple of years. And so me asking for a simple accounting, and then you turn around and you tell a big community that I was being disruptive and spreading rumors. I mean, I guess I'll just go on and on about this. I mean, as some people could say, you're wrong. You were wrong in thinking that. You were wrong in doing what you did. And I still think that you should provide a full accounting. I'm never going to walk away from that, because that was one of the reasons that I came back into the community. I didn't appreciate the fact that you were taking income and that it was actually a cartel. That income wasn't being shared with other people that were providing value or interest or soliciting, or, so it's a cartel. And you get to pick and choose who's in that community and who's not in that community. And so it's really not it's not an open to anyone community. So I think we to hear you say the things that you said last night about how you were so benevolent and how maybe I misbehaved and I was being disruptive. I mean, yeah, we're going to figure out who's really being disruptive and destructive. Like we say, I'd like to see your charts, right? Your charts with your own markings, your charts with your own blood on there, right? I'd like to see that happen. And there's another little thing I want to talk about, these third-party add-ons that everyone is suggesting that everybody has, and yet everybody goes mute and silent when people are asking simple questions about these things. So I'd like to get really serious about that. Who has these scripts and who's really paying and who's not paying, and why do the script builders, the authors of these scripts, why aren't they in the crypto space? Because last I checked, I'm the only one that has a script on GitHub that's used every day, talks about it every day. I don't see anybody else. Last night I heard, well, if you have a script and if it's any good, it won't be public. I mean, that's just okay. All right then, Bitcoin. It just goes right back. It doesn't even make any sense. So I have a lot to talk about, I guess, today. All right, so let's just check and see, we'll figure out what's going on with the charts. And so you've been looking at the TweetDeck, which we love. I'm running to the charts right now. And before I do that, let's make sure that we are live on YouTube. And I'll go to the YouTube channel. And there we are there. And I'll grab we are live on YouTube. Grab the pop-out chat if that's necessary. I don't really know if it is or not, but make sure that I get my welcome in there. Bitcoin overnight viewer. You know what I really like about this?
There's 45 people watching the live stream.
Okie dokie. All right, so I've sent out my share link, and it's out on Twitter now. Hey, Wes. Weekly Snow, I would love to see your idea of a weekly wrap-up or the like. Oh, that's a really fun idea. You know that I have a couple of, let me kind of show you that what I was trying to do. I'll go over there right now if you don't mind. I have a blog spot, and let me go here. I tried to do this in the summer, actually, Wes. And what I tried to do is do it every day, right, when there's a lot of activity. And the problem that I was running into is the volatility of the market. Once I had figured out what I wanted to say, and maybe even I did a synopsis on Twitter, I'm sorry, on YouTube, for example, then I posted my charts, for example, like I did in this particular post. And I'll scroll down so you can kind of see. Can you see what I'm doing right now? Let me go back to my hand, make sure, yeah, you can see it just fine, right? And this worked out pretty well. Thank you for encouraging me to maybe continue it. But, to do a really good one, for example, let's take a look at this one here. I have to describe what the chart is. I have to describe what the price line is. I have to explain what you're looking at. I have to do a disclaimer. And then in these, I did my chart legend so everyone knew. I did annotations. And this was done, of course, every day. Now you're asking for like a weekly synopsis, which might be something, but you still have to do the work, the daily work. And so, but thank you for asking. I'll go ahead and I'll put the link in, even though up the right upper right-hand banner, you can see where the blog spot is. That's kind of, what I tried to do in the summer. And I've gone back and forth with these things. I've really attempted on so many levels. And then, I get sideswiped. Pop that into Adobe and you'd have your template ready to build. Yeah. I think I figured out kind of after I did a few of them, and sorry for the, I don't know, maybe you guys don't want to see that. Wish I could figure out how to do that. The application window. So pardon me for the infinity view. You have to do enough of them in order to figure out what it is that you want it to look like. And then you'll see something new and you'll get distracted, or I get distracted by comments, or in this last particular point, someone had said, well, what I thought would, like someone that I really respected came to me and said, no, we're cool. He wanted to have it be a different sort of analysis. And then I thought to myself, well, okay, I'll give that a try. And then I tried it. And then he's looking for something that, so many people ask for things that really are shared behind paywall. And so to keep some of this, flowing and important and of value, it takes a lot of time. So you have to kind of, and I don't think it's dedication. Clearly there's something different that's going on, right? And it would be really great if I was more of a storyteller, because most narrative, especially stock analysis, for example, these are narratives from storytellers. And, most of the time people have come back and said they don't understand me. So I'm just not a very good storyteller. I mean, I basically think that I need an editor to look at the body of the work maybe during the week and then kind of narrow it down um, to one full, nugget. The thing about looking at Bitcoin on a weekly is that the volatility is so incredible. It is kind of hard to do, a weekly view. I mean, there's plenty of people that do it on YouTube, and and then maybe it's not enough instruments, and you should probably have a good basket of 10 instruments, or even there's some indexes out there that are 30 deep, and then that gives you a much broader. But to just do two or three certainly isn't big enough for a weekly outlook. But thank you for asking. It's a great idea, and and it would be really fun, to see it actually sorted out. Um, when I was working with really, the idea would be is that the rotation of charts, that I would be able to do like 10. And if I do that every day, it seems to work out because I can get my tabs set in order and my charts, all put in order. And so, my older YouTube goes through many more instruments, which is what you need. Okay, put it into a value gradient and then layer the info for each iteration of that week. So what, like FinViz? Like here, like this? Like, for example, this is like a gradient, like this sort of thing, like a heat map. You ever seen this before? Let me go into their apps. Like a heat map? Because no one has done one for cryptocurrency yet. Now there are systems that, but anyway, this is a heat map. It still only gives you, percentages of change. It's not giving you any um, analysis. So let me see what you think about that. Let me go back over to our hangout. Oops. So I got to get rid of that. Let me get rid of that and Blogger and come back over here. Ah, yeah. You're like, yes, beauty, do that. That would be so cool. Oh, man. Well, I mean, that's the thing too, you have to, like when I go back and I read my analysis, I'm like, yeah, dummy, you know, you should have just done, like, why don't you understand what I'm talking about? And you're always having to drop it down uh, to, lower. You always have to drop it down, and keep dropping it down until you find, your audience, if that's what you're after. And you probably know by this time that, I'm not after an audience. I'm really just journaling, especially since, other communities um, are more attractive. That right now it's really a matter of just being counted. I mean, that's how far down I've got. And so, maybe I'll feel differently about things once we keep doing these little growth hacks. And but it's just really like, oh my God. I'm so glad I put that crypto rant and crypto drama in my keywords. because, it's like the money just isn't enough, Yeah, yeah, you're right. You are so right. So Wes is saying in the chat, because the chat goes away when we go into live and into the archive, guys, is that, so Wes Warren, my good friend from the back in the Blab days, is like, it's always a packaging problem, It's like, that's basically the essence of all of life. It's just always a packaging problem. I love that. We need to put that in our t-shirt idea file. And, it's not my problem. It's not your problem. It's just a packaging problem. So, yeah, man. I mean, if I had known that what people really wanted was drug-fueled screaming and yelling into a microphone, really pushing the narrative forward that you're right and everyone else is wrong. And then you get to say, I don't know. Um, if I had known that all of this was just really under the bridge kind of stuff, I would have backed away a long time ago. Anyway, the price, let's go to price and we'll talk about what's happening in the chart, if you don't mind. So at least I can get that in. I think I'm just going to be on for an hour today. So here we are, classic chart, the BTC USD, Coinbase pair on Ruby. Here's the 30-minute, and I'll talk about it in the 30-minute for just a moment here before we kind of move on in. And here's the 30-minute. And I'm going to show you that we broke out of the triangle, which is called a false breakout. And when we get in a little tighter, you'll see why. And I even put the break potential at the 5660 is still here. The 243 is right here, cradling price. And we're really just, getting ready for a resolution. You cannot have this supporting, which is now really providing pressure. It's not just support, it's pressure up against price. And then, of course, all this downward pressure coming from the highs into the lows. And many times what you'll see in these patterns is that there's number one, there's a continuation. And you can see the continuation would be to the downside. And we have those measurements, and everyone that is in these in the trades right now understands that if we break through the channel, you can get out. If we break through the 96, we can get out. If we break down from the 243, we can get out. The median of the pattern, which would be at the 5676 area, the break potential, then the support line here, lots of different places that you can manage this trade if it was to fall apart, meaning that if this trade was to continue, let's see if I can squeeze another drawing tool on here. So this is called a continuation pattern, okay? So we have, let's make sure we can get out of that. Let's see. Okay, so the trade starts from up above and it resolves to the downside, fortunately at the 243, and then the trade will continue. It did its second run to the 243 here, and then it will continue once again. It may survive the 243 and bump up and bump out, but one way of looking at it is that it is a continuation pattern, in which case, let me make sure that I can get this. Hope you guys can see this. My chart might be a little slow here. And then we would get a continuation, and price would get us at approximately above the 51.17, which is my next level break, but on a measured move, 54.51.37. And everyone would be freaking out by about this time, not knowing. They'd have to go to the left side of the chart to see if there was a bounce level. But that's on the thesis that we will actually continue, okay? Be on a continuation pattern. Let's make sure that you understand about that. Does that make sense? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, let me see. Let me get the go ahead and get rid of the TweetDeck and Twitter, and maybe even the. Better not get rid of the Cardwell. Let's see what. Yeah, let me see if I can get the. Okay, we should be fine now. Can you see the screen okay? I think we're all right now. Oh, it did, huh? Okay, hold on. Okay, we're still, okay, we'll just keep going. Keep on keeping on. All right, so I'll go back to the pattern. The second pattern, of course, is that we broke Ruby short, right? And this is a Ruby short break, but we got squeezed by the 243. And to me, and I took a look at this with quiet from yesterday's close until 3 or 4 hours ago, this has really been a great scalpers weekend. I heard someone saying that it was lousy. Yeah, it's lousy if you're on the wrong side of it, but this has been a very decent scalpers weekend if that's your sort of thing in your trade and you're hyperactive and just wanted to be in this descending pattern. Lot of traders like this particular pattern. They love the squeeze. They like the volatility that can come in the chop. And it's just, if you get caught in kind of some shallow wicks, then that's no fun. But, there was some good, if you were patient and, scalps, sometimes you will put them on timers. And if you don't get what you want out of it, then of course, you have to pay the price. But if you can catch it at the right time, then it's a great, avenue to build up some fiat. All right, so here we have a little closer look. So we know that this is a good line here. High, lower high, and then we ray tooled it out. Okay. Now what we'd rather see is that instead of this busting through like this, because what this shows us is that we didn't get a tap and a jump and a hold. We got a barreling through of a trend line. And this is called a violation of a trend line. And what it means is that the trend line will have to then more than likely be reviolated, or price will stay very stuck to. Let me get a little closer up so you can see. So here's the close-up. So you see in one bar, we violate the trend line. Comes back, holds trend. Comes back, reviolates, but on the 96. So that's not so bad. Trend is supported here. Price is supported by the trend line. Price is supported by the trend line. Price is supported by the trend line. Of course, we just started this candle, so we still have 21 minutes to go. And we can go in a little closer. We'll go into a 15 minutes so you can see it up close. Once again, one 15-minute bar violated the trend line. So this only means that this trend line will either have to be supported over a great length of time, or it will be reviolated and come back in. You want it to be a nice, clean tag. If not, it's a false breakout. Go a little closer so we can see at what point in time did it ever stop? Here's a 5-minute. Go to the 3-minute. Nope. Do you see what I'm saying? So the trend line became violated, which means it has to come back and retest trend. So this is what's called a false breakout. I hope, does that make sense? Let's see if that makes sense. Going back over here. Okay. All right. So you get why that would happen, and why the continuation pattern, which is actually for the shorts, right? So Ruby is in a short, okay? And we'll go to, open up the chart a little bit here. So we can see we have a lot of patterns going on, okay? Upward, this is a resistance line, resistance trend line. It's really acting and behaving as an asymmetrical triangle. You'll see it here by the lower support line. And we need to have resolution before the apex. This particular pattern, we usually should see the heel. That means the length of the pattern, which really goes to the 243. Not this line down here, but this line up here, because we have the double taps. So that's the true support line. But I don't have to draw it because the 243 is doing that naturally. Is that it's a 75% of the pattern is when you want to see resolution. And that's what it looks like about right here. We could actually do a physical measurement of it, but that kind of looks like about 75% of the move. Then you have to measure here, and that is the reactionary bounce. And there's math about if it's to the upside against the continuation, it will be 34% of the move to the upside, which would be the double top probably about right there, or it will be 64% of the downward push. And then, of course, I don't know where that would end up being, but there are different ways of measuring this sort of a move, which is kind of fun to think. You could actually get in there and do that sort of thing. All right, but let's take a better look about other structures that people might be more familiar with. For example, the Fibonacci. Now we have 3 Fibonacci's going on right now in the chart because we have enough volatility and enough price action in order for us to isolate a swing. And so our Fibonacci tool is used from the high to the low. Now I could do the opposite of this and then it would rotate around the Fibonacci so we get those lower numbers. But this is in expectation of the price moving, because then we knew that we had a low. And the low picked up. In fact, the low came out of trend and reacted and came back in. Retag trend. Remember what I said about has to come back out and retag. And then, of course, the continuation to the upside. And we were able to manage the trade, especially once it went long, manage the trade at every single Fibonacci. And then, of course, the fail came in at the 786. And then we have been in the short since right here, right in between the halfway point and 618. And here we are in the short right now, but very wily short. All right, so let's see how we're doing. Did your folks ever tell you that you just overthink things? Well, no. Yeah. I mean, after 10 years, I'm not overthinking too much. But because I'm describing, my chart, which is my working chart, then yeah, I guess you could think that I'm overthinking, but that's pretty funny though. But I mean, you have to overthink some things sometimes, but you don't have to overthink everything all the time. All right, so we'll go to the 60-minute just to make sure that you can kind of see where things are, because you were asking about, well, what is going to happen for the week? So let's go to a weekly chart. You're going to see. You think I overthink things. When would you like for me not to be thinking, Wes? Okay, so let's go ahead and get real close, as close as we can. I think that that's about as far as we can get. We may have to go to another chart. So that chart is not going to work for us. Let's go here and let's try the weekly here, and that might be a little clearer. All right, so here's the weekly. Bitcoin, USD, Coinbase. All right, and so here's the chart for us. Here, hold on just a moment, okay? Can you hold on for just a second? Uh-oh. Where did I go? There we go. Let's just wait just a moment. I'll be back in just a second. Okie dokes. So you'll be on a dark screen, just a podcast screen for just a moment. Boop, boop. Okie dokes. All right, so what you just saw me go through, and I won't rebuild the charts up, but what you saw me go through was dropping down. You'll notice the time interval. I went to the weekly. I grabbed the weekly bar and I did a Fibonacci tool on it. And you'll notice that my Fibonacci tool is white everywhere else except for the two areas of interest where I want to focus on price. Price has to maintain and price has to respond to those two areas. That's the 50% Fibonacci and the 618. Now, if I take it to another chart, then I can find out all sorts of other different things about what might be happening in price. And then it's plotted on the beta, Cardwell beta. And then all you're seeing is the interval. Basically, here's the 4 hour, so you can see it a little bit better there. And what you were seeing me do is that I did that rough Fibonacci, and then I had to go in and make sure that I was grabbing the high and the low of the week. There's your 4 hour interval. Here's the 1 hour interval. This gives me a better idea to see in the week exactly how it came through the false breakout, came through the 243, retested, hit the apex of a W, came back through the 243 and busted out and up. We got an Elliott 5 at the top of the Fibonacci range. This is a very good sign on the 60. So all this is doing is telling me is that the 60-minute is actually producing some very good guidance on what could happen for the week, which is what Wes wants to hear from me. It's like, Beauty, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next week? Okay. So unfortunately, because we're cradling the 243, there's only a few things that can happen, Wes. There's only a few things that can happen. One is that we have that continuation pattern, which I spoke about, right? Breaks the 243, and then it comes down to maybe retest the lows, which are right down here. And maybe there are other superior lows also, but obviously that the shorts had won out because the 243 is the longest, the biggest EMA, exponential moving average, that's on my charts, the 243. You could put a 200 on your chart if you wanted to see. The classic ideal is that if price is above the 200, then price is long, and if it's below, then price is short, or bull and bear is how you would describe it. With Ruby, it's the 243. We can see that the bands, the Bollinger Bands, are narrowing, and we've had a lot of volatility in between the bands. So now that the bands have gone and they're very close to the 50-yard line, right, the 50% line, and then being squeezed by the 243, we knew this from the Ruby chart as well, that we have extreme volatility here. So we will see resolution of that volatility. We have in the past seen this sort of excruciating, very long-lived narrowing of price and narrowing of opportunity. That is always a possibility. But this more has to do with weekend traffic, like you were saying, that there's more political, air quote, political arguments out there. There's more decisions that are being made, and now that we're sort of moving into more of a classical legacy timing, and which the weekends we see a little bit more softening of the trade. And however, we know that the shorts have kind of won out over the weekend because we've had the lower highs and standard double bottoms. We haven't really had lower lows. So for the week, we just know, fortunately, all I can do is tell you is that there will be a resolution. And that will be either that we are going to get a very dramatic pullback, and there will be a reason for it, and we will hear all about those reasons, or we can see that there'll be an elevation in the 243 and we will just continue going up. We'll come out of this kind of kissy short, which we're in right now. And here I'll go to the 60-minute Ruby so you can see. Called the kissy short. And the reason is that it's been a very narrow, you'll notice that it kind of looks like the lower lip. It's not really deep like these shorts are, you see. There's just volatility price is trying to make a decision as to whether or not it really truly wants to latch short. So we can see that it's just being squeezed, and we went over this before as to what we think might happen. If the short is to hold up, then it will widen out, just like the Bollinger Bands will widen out and allow for price to begin its descending move. If not, and there's enough support pressure from the 243, it will hold price up, and then we'll just continue on our merry way of higher highs. So I know you're probably like, you need to let me know something different than that, Beauty. I want something different. You just need to give me, tell me what's going to happen. So, does that help at all? Yes, really. You know what we were talking about too? Maybe you know about this. Maybe you can help me put together a decent list of ASIC resilient or ASIC resistant names in the altcoin lineup. So because the live chat goes away, I'll go ahead and read this. Wes Aureli had written, I'm back to dual streaming on the same channel, no complaints. I do deliberately go dark for a while. Growth is slowed, but I've made friends, which is more important. That's really great. You definitely want to check out his channel, love, love, love. And he says hello to Wes, and then he goes, Bitcoin Gold brought a lot of attention to the ASIC resistant alts. BTC and GRS both doing fairly well. GRS? Who's GRS? GRS. Okay, I know about Vertcoin now. But whose game? Both doing fairly well, but I hold more confidence in Vert as its algo is designed to be flexible against ASICs. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of yip yap about that. Definitely interesting to watch. Okay. Where do you find these coins? Send me a link, or put a link in your channel, and I'll go over there and check it out. Gristle coin or Grossel coin. All right, I'll believe you. But I'm very interested in seeing what that lineup looks like and getting something that's maybe a little bit more tailored. All right, so we are in our third hour of breaking out of this descending line, and we know why it looks that way. Go to the 15-minute. And so we get this lovely breakout. And we have a lot of activity going on right now live. We still do not see a good tag of the trend line, however. We do see that Ruby, though, is being challenged to go green. So we might have to take something over to Telegram. Let's see how Cardwell dealt with it. That all looks really good. We'll go to his 15-minute. You can see that we have support of the 243, and we're barreling through the Fibonacci. Of the 243 at median, so not only do we get the support of median and the follow through, we're in Fibonacci. All the EMAs are in good order. So the only thing I'm not so crazy about is how the breakout violated the trend line. That's my only concern right now. $58.28.54. Oh, good, good. So we're just going to keep a really good eye on this move. Trading at 58.23, 58.27.74, up 1.32%. And you're watching it live on Ruby. So pretty exciting because the trend line, we're having the change happen on the trend line. And we've seen this before many times with Ruby, and it can get pretty exciting because it really does support the long all the way up. $58.37.03, up 1.48%. 58.43.66, up 1.59, now 1.7%. Enormous 5-minute bar. Coming back over to my chat. Yo, yo, yo to the John. Hey, how are you? What's going on? What you doing? $58.50 flat, 1.7% to the upside. And we're about to break the Ruby cross long. Ah, that's nice. So how long did that take, I wonder then? Did you get a notification or were you just scrolling through YouTube? But thank you, because you know I'm on this growth hack thing. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it does. I really do. I hope that it does. But thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Here we go. The Ruby cross is now green. It's kind of fun that you guys can see this live now. 58.50. 58.50. See if we can get. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, last night we were number 4, which is pretty good. And up against, you know, some bigger players definitely. We're at 58.50. So I think I'm doing some things right. But yeah, I mean, I was really proud to be number 4 on the leaderboard. If you went Bitcoin live, then we were number 4. Oh, were you? Oh, you had me on? That's fun. I'll tell you, it's a blast. It is such a blast to be on another channel. And isn't it fun? It's fun to listen when you because it feels as though maybe you're listening to, like, what does it feel like? Like you're listening in on, me, right? You're not like listening to me on my own channel. It's really well, he's so cool. He knows I love him so much. I love him so much. All right, we're at 58.55.23. I guess everybody's sorting out to 5,900, up 1.8%. Looks like the longs may have it if we can hold on here. Yeah, I just love it because also he has a different, you know, because my voice gets fed through his mixer. So it just has a different feel to it. And then with the music, and I just love it. So when he went dark, you know, over the last month or so, It's like, oh, it's like a stab, like, oh no. And, both of us had so many things going on and really we could have really done some really cool things with the community, but, we both get pretty busy, and then he's got his own vision of things. And, I'm just kind of like the fly on the wall, even though I love to see Ruby, on in his house. It's very cool. 58.59, 58.58.99, trading up 1.86% on the Bitcoin USD Coinbase pair. And thank you very much for the guys that are stopping by to chat with me on tonight. This is night 3 of the Bitcoin viewer growth hack show. The Bitcoin overnight viewer growth hack show. I'm so glad that you could come in and see this incredible move. Imagine at 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been live for now an hour. Did not realize that this might come to us, handed to us, but this often happens. I'll sense certain things in the charts and then, decide to go live. And then sometimes I don't push the button. And but because I'm trying to get these 10,000 lifetime viewers, I thought I have to challenge myself. It doesn't matter. Even, I just have to do it. And Wes has always been such a kind person with me, dropping by just to say hello. And he keeps me, realizing that, that there are people out there that I really do miss. I mean, Blab just gave us such a hit upside the head that we can't see each other, visit each other anymore, because we became so accustomed to the Blab, ecosystem. So we miss it quite a bit. So just the fact that he would come over and find me over here is a real delight. 58.44. We have our first red bar that was printed. Bit of a hammer. We're getting a nice bit of green for the ruby. We'll see how this works out, though. See, the notifier would have been good because you would have known about the Ruby Cross, and it's a matter of whether or not that trajectory is healthy enough for you then to take the position. Okay, let's make sure that the feed is still good. We'll go ahead and restore the chat. And thank you for the thumbs up too, guys. Appreciate that. So I'll go back and forth and check on my chat so it's not disconnected. 58.44. Okay, let me see if I'm going to get something over to the all right, I'm just taking it over to the RubyCrossBot over on Telegram. Okay, let's see. Um, Really says you have one of the nicest voices and calmest personalities. I wish that that was really all true. I always play you through my house, and my partner even agrees. She said you should read children's books too. Yeah, that would be a delight. Ultra engaging and informative, always sharing, not pushing or shilling. I appreciate what you do. That's really sweet, really. Thank you. I mean, it's not, that I have a keyword, right, that says crypto drama, you know, Bitcoin rant. You have to look at the keywords. You have to do some discovery on the channel because, it's certainly not always like that. And it's not for everybody either, my style. But it's so nice for you to say that. And I did used to, I don't know. There's a couple of guys that I could tell you about that used to private message me in the very beginning, and they'd be on flights or whatever, and they'd go, "Beauty, do you mind? I can't sleep." They would do that whole "I can't sleep" thing, and I would crack up. I mean, these are like if I was to name these people to you, you'd go, "No way!" But uh, so yes. I think we're up for something really crazy. I really do. I think the days of, let's all be kumbaya because this is the answer to all of our ills. I mean, answer to what ills? What ills exactly would those be? As I hear about Lambos and cigars and hookers, what woes are you guys talking about? Because last I checked, if you go to Charity Water, like I know that there are people that do not have drinking water, clean drinking water tonight. I know that. And if anything that I do can serve that need, there was someone in the crypto space who's from Puerto Rico who his father to this day since the hurricane, they have not been able to locate him. Now, of course, that's a very personal story, right? That's not a ill of the world, but just the fact that he would be in any sort of anguish over that. I don't know why we would have a communities that are driven by Lambos, hookers, and cigars. I just don't follow that. But I think that we're really in for some raucous. I think this next year is going to put a lot of pressure on who we really are. I've been saying that for a while, though. Maybe too long. All right, the trade is at 58.47.01 up 1.65. Softened up just a little tiny bit from the high of 58.59 flat, which is way up here. And in a couple of candles, we might be able to even do a simple Fibonacci here, just to make sure that this candle is going to hold and the move long is going to hold. So we do have to do a little bit of management here. All right, let's check out Twitter. See how Twitter's doing. In case you missed it, Scam CoinBot. Scam CoinBot goes to Seaside. Novosti. I always look at BitNovo. That's how I say his name. Coin Korea. 5 little known things that instantly increased our Facebook video views. Facebook video is a big, big deal, guys. Although I haven't been able to go live on Facebook now for a couple weeks, and I don't know what the problem is over there. Why Samsung doesn't beat Apple where it matters, I don't know. PizPie. In the 4-hour, we crossed across a couple of exchanges. Ari Paul, Jed Newman, Bot Runner. Okay, isn't that something? It's the middle of the night. There really isn't a whole lot. So what we'll do is I might even open up my the TweetDeck. Yeah, let's go ahead and open up TweetDeck. I think it's more informative. All right, here's my TweetDeck. It's one of the things that I highly recommend, and get your columns set up the way that you'd like. And make sure that your columns are actually, refreshing. Like we have an 11-minute, maybe a laggard there, and just give it a few seconds when you open up your TweetDeck for it to cache or whatever it's doing underneath the hood to get things going. You'll notice that there's 2 quote marks here. That means that all the tweets that I get are not retweets. That's cleaned up a little bit of the noise. Also, the way that I have my columns built, where I have Bitcoin on one side and crypto on the other, even though oftentimes they'll be the same tweets, at least I can see whether or not it has a little bit of filler in the BitMEX rect. And then these 2 are kind of open columns. They go back and forth. There's something going on, like Bitcoin Gold, or I could even put probably SegWit in here. Maybe do that now. See what happens. All right, so let's see. Oh, really? Is this what you were talking about? That it's the bulls and the bears? Look at that GIF. Jeez. All right. Okay, it looks like we're just kind of softening up here then. I'm not really crazy about when the trade decides to do that. It's like we get a few FOMO players in, and then it softens up a little bit. All right, let's see. Samsung beats Apple all day. Okay, iPhone was the television, air conditioner. I know we have a lot of Samsung products, but the kicker is you have to have the Apple. I'm sorry to say it that way, but I don't think it's one or the other. I know we have a lot of Samsung appliances. We have Samsung televisions now for a very long time. We've had all of the televisions. All the different kind of brands depending on what we're using them for. And then of course we have our monitors. But the Apple, I mean, everything that we have that's music oriented, that's travel worthy, is, and the iPad and the phones and the laptops, I mean, it's just, all of these things are just so beautiful. But it's a good combination, I think, the Samsung Apple combo. So we've been on for an hour. If you guys have any last things to say, or jump over to Really and his channel. Really, do you want me to grab your channel? Where are you right now? Where are you broadcasting right now? Like, where are you live right now? Do you want me to look you up? So do you see, we really wanted to see a follow through of this. For us to just stay here at the 40 base, this is, you know, it's a long road. So we have to have the 40 base supported, then it comes through the 55, the 60 is right here, and then the all-time highs. So this has got to get some follow through, please, on that. It was fun to watch, though, but we need some follow through for sure. Yeah. Let me go on over to go to the main YouTube channel. Okay, let's see, where are you? I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Okay, got it. All right, there is the 100% crypto BTC LTC ETH test opinion consensus freedom open source life. I suppose we could talk a little bit about that channel name, really. But anyway, there is Really's channel, and you guys need to probably just go ahead and bookmark and subscribe to his channel. He's always doing very interesting things using OBS, and of course, he's kind enough when he has it set up to highlight, you know, the coolest people that are out there, and so we met each other here on YouTube, which is just really cool. So, you know, he really knows what he's doing over there, because he's got the music and he's got the charts, and he's oh so cool too. So definitely check out his channel. He does have 2 channels that are out there. He has a gaming channel as well. So let me go back over here and see where else he is at. He's got the Really Great channel. Really, what's the other channel? Shoot. Let me see. I don't know what the other gaming channel is called. Sorry, love. But anyway, here I'll say something. Hey, guys. You'll notice, see, he's so brave, and it wasn't because I asked him, but he made me a moderator. You see that wrench? I haven't thrown it through a window yet. Not, not yet. But definitely check out Really's channel. And our last check of the charts takes us at 58.45, up 1.62%. I'm glad that we were all here together to see how a long can take a hold of a break of a trend line, and of course Ruby going green, so you guys can actually see that happen. It's pretty exciting stuff. That's on Ruby. On the test of, this is a beta of a chart that I've been working on now for coming into 3 years actually. And so we got a nice breakup. Bollinger opened up for us. The median came through the 243. We talked about this before a little bit. We supported the 243 in median. We really do need to see this thing go ahead and take some traction and move on all the way up. If it doesn't happen, then it'll just be lower highs. Okay, that's all that we'll get out of it. And you can see from the Elliott 2 here that this candle here will only give us lower highs, and then we'll just continue on, you know, south. Ouch. Don't want that to happen, but that's a possibility. All right. Let me see here. What do we have? The Secret Circus, but it's quiet. Yeah. Really, those bottom charts on your stream are from CryptoWatch. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're talking about Really stuff. Yeah. Yeah, his whole channel is just really marvelous. It's very modern. But because he knows how to use the OBS and he's got his mic call figured out, and when he goes on mic, oh, it's just like, hello. And it would be really fun if we could, I think that we've talked about this, because the only way of bringing me in would be through Skype, and I don't do Skype. We think that maybe there's some other ways that I could be brought into the channel if it wasn't a hangout situation, I think. But I do believe that it's only through the Skype, right? Really, that it can work out. And then so much stuff that we have to talk about is just kind of the technical bits, and of course, because you're really into the alts, I'm just kind of like at the edge of my seat, wanting to learn so much about those. Yeah, okay. Because I guess what there's Zoom, and oh, anyway, maybe we can talk about that another time. But what's really crazy is that we have more of like a broader topics. It's not just crypto-centric. So we like to talk about, I don't know, we like to talk about a lot of different things. It's fun. Okay, guys, I'm going to be running back over to the chart for just the follow through and closing up and moving to the 15-minute, so we can see what this thing really looks like, and why my concern is that all we did was get we got a lower high out of this. And so we don't want to get too excited just yet. This could have been a follow through of the false breakout. Could be. We don't really know. I wish that that candle had not done that. I wish that that had been more determinate. So that's the only problem that I have. Okay, so that's really it. Thank you guys very, very much for visiting me here at the Bitcoin Overnight Viewer Hack Night number 3. I'm going to keep doing these as often as I possibly can, making sure that I reach my 10,000 lifetime viewer count, so everyone is counted on the YouTube feed. And this may help us at least remain on the very low scale of being relevant, but at least it puts me back in some sort of, good place with the YouTube algorithm. And at least I've met that mark. I guess there's a lot of people that have not met that mark. They do not have 10,000 all-time viewers. So I think 1,000 viewers a year. I'll be on YouTube 8 years, coming up in January, I think, of 2018. And I think, come on now, I think I can swing this. So I'm just going to keep trying. And I will see everyone. You can always reach me on Twitter if you like, or leave a comment in the YouTube. And YouTube gives me a notification. If you're not subscribed and you've come in as a replay viewer, I'd appreciate the subscription. If you want to be notified, hit the notifying bell. And enjoy yourselves. I will see everyone during the week. And let me see, that's really it. Okay, good night now. Good night, guys. Good night, guys. All righty. I'll wait the 60 seconds that it takes for you guys to... Yeah, John, I am. Yeah. Did you want me to keep the feed going, or... John! No, John, I'm not going to Rabbit. Why do I need to go to Rabbit? What do you want to talk about? We can talk about it here. You want me to give you some rants? I got rants. I got drama. It's only 3:30 in New York. I've got lots of rants and lots of drama. It's pretty funny. Oh, just to hang out. You know, I don't hang out, though. I don't hang out. You're so funny like that. All I want to do is complain. You know that, right? And do you really think that it's not very funny? Because you're just going to come back and you're just going to tell, this is what you're going to tell me. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. And I just can't get over it. You know? I'm trying to get out of it. That's what I need to do. I keep getting dragged back in. Well, I talked about it a little bit earlier. I can't seem to, people have my charts and they share their charts with other forums. And then they'll reveal, although they do it rather sheepishly, that it's a Ruby chart or that it's BeautyBubble's Ruby. And that sets off a brush fire of some really hideous things that have been said about me from the very, very beginning of time. And it happened again last night. And the guy that decided that he wanted to be the big stick in the room is, like I want to call him out. And I am going to call him out. And I think that I called him out to the right people. And I hope that he gets the message that none of the stuff that he was sharing with a rather big room with his big stick and his big ass hat was true. And yet these are things that, the men folk want to believe about how I operate on the internet. And it's really pitiful. Because what it does is that it goes back to the bigger fish and the people with much bigger sticks who so happen to like me. And then, it makes it makes the little guys look really stupid and makes the bigger guys look stupid too, because they're the ones that have put these little guys in charge. And I just don't think that you should be just flat out. This is just, and the conversation had about 6 different, what's it called? 6 different angles of why we should not like BeautyBubble, right? Why she's the C word, and everyone kind of knows what I feel about that. Why she's the B word, why she's crazy, why she's, it's phenomenal. And what I've had to tell Quiet is that what's really crazy and creepy about it mostly is that this is probably the way that they feel about their mothers. Because I don't know where they get off. I don't know where they learn this stuff. If it isn't with their own friends talking about their parents. And that's what they don't like. So being that they're on the internet, they think that they can rail on me, my personality, and who I am. This one guy last night said in an open room, he typed it in an open room, that everyone in the cryptocurrency community thinks that you're crazy and that you're a nuisance. And I just came back and gave him the market cap. Like you're a liar. I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know why that's so important to you to want to tell an entire room that that's what you think, that everybody knows. And the value of that, and you're a community, like he wanted everyone to know as well that, he's a community, like he runs the community, like he could ban me anytime he wants. Well, what I'm saying is that, well, then ban me then. I mean, that's what everyone else has done. Then just do what your big stick is instructing you to do based on a lie. Just do that. And this whole kind of let me talk to you about this really, about the stand by each other, right? And I think that it's not about just standing by me, it's standing by each other, right? And the brand of people that act like this on the internet towards anyone, they do find people that will stand behind them. And I've heard that. That's why I'm not at the Mumble. I was called out and the guy came back and said, and there's people that will stand behind me in this, like, we want you gone. And there are people that will stand behind me. I'd never heard that from anybody. And all of a sudden he's able to say this to me as though it's true. And I'm happy just to give people what they want. This is another thing I'm trying to remind everybody. It's not like they don't get what they want. I'm not in those communities. You don't want me there, I'm not in there. I'm not sitting over at the TeamSpeak. They have a live YouTube feed. I monitor the live YouTube feed like I monitor many, many other channels. And, Flibber banned me from the TeamSpeak. I don't go there through the back door. I don't go anywhere through the back door. If you don't want me, I'm not there. Meaning if you as the owner of that channel do not want me, I am not there. But I'm also not going to go to a channel where I'm supposed to be there because I'm ignoring assholes. Just ignore the assholes was the thing that was said to me over at the Mumble. Well, if you've got assholes, deal with it. Don't make your members have to deal with it. As the owner of the channel, you need to deal with it. And if you can't deal with it, I'm going to give, because you're giving the members what they want anyway, I'm going to give them what they want. And so I'll leave. I don't have any reason to be there. And the reality too is that we can stand with each other, but this is what I get. Oh, I wasn't there. I didn't hear it. I all of a sudden now you need to have contemporaneous proof, that I was called the C word, when there's every evidence that one particular person, including screenshots and everything else, that he did call me a C word 2 times. And the 3rd time I'm like, I'm done. I'm just, like I have my own position. And that's his position, to feel free to call me the C word and tell me to get lost and call me a troll. There you go. He's given himself the freedom to do that. I'm giving myself the freedom to get the hell out. I don't need to be in the way of that bus. Like it's a cheap thrill. It's a cheap trick. It's demeaning as all out. I'll never get over it. And I know that we would like to believe that we stand behind one another, and we should, right? We should be walking around with that feeling of strength, that we do help each other out. But I'll believe you me, their army is a lot bigger than our army. And one reason is that we all want to play along. This is what I've seen. Guys want to make sure that they all band together because the women aren't in the space. There are very few women that are in the space. It's not like we can band together. We can't band together for shit. Pardon me for anybody that heard that out there, but it's the truth. We're not very good at it because we're nest keepers and we're baby makers, and it's not our job, to band together. We create families and community and want people to get along and have a sense of discipline and lessons and growth and development. Those are the things that we're interested in. I am not interested in trying to coach a guy out of calling women the C word at any provocation. I'm just not, that's just not the business that I'm in. Because he should have been dealt with when he was 2 years old, 3 years old, not me dealing with him when he's 30 years old. Like, that's just not, he's never going to change. And I know that now better than I did before because I've been with these guys for years and I've put up with the bullshit for years. And it's like, you know, I'm not for them and them, they're not for me. And that's where I have to be okay with it. And they seem to think that, you know, I want to police them and, you know, and they're using all these kinds of like really bizarre, you know, ideas about me. And it's like, dudes, why don't you speak about your wives and your, you know, and your own families? Why are you talking about me? Like on an open YouTube channel, like get over yourself. I'm not even mentioning names here, as you can see. Because they're not here. If they were here, then I could be talking to them, but they're not here. All right, so we can see that the trade did fall back in on itself, so it's folding in on itself, and we just can't lose too much of this. So what you can do, it's a little trick. I'm going to take a Fibonacci retracement. This is called a progressive fib, and we're going to take that fib all the way from the top of the candle to the bottom of the candle. And we can see that there's a real threat here, that this could actually fully implode and it will pop up and come back in on itself. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. People that were getting excited, you'll even notice that the EMAs have shaved off. The 12 is knotted through the 96. So this is a very loosey-goosey long right now. Very, very loosey-goosey. And I do appreciate it, really. It's just, I think that both of us are realists around the situation. You know, the internet allowed this to happen. I think that Reddit is responsible quite a bit for some of this attitude. And even Twitter now is coming back and saying, you know what, we really don't want people treating each other like this. YouTube now, of course, has this whole list of things that you can say and can't say in the chat. And you're warned if you go, you know, if you touch on words that are unseemly to the broadcaster. So we've insulated ourselves. Now all of a sudden we're not going to be seeing what people are saying about us. And I'm not too sure how healthy that is either. You know, I would rather, if someone's going to say some bullshit thing to me, I'm going to come back and say, dude, you need to talk to this person to get your head straight. That's what you need to do. Or I can have Charles Hoskinson come out and tell you that he likes my charts. He doesn't think my charts are shit like you told, you know, 2,000 people that my charts are actually more like 7,000 people that my charts are shit. You know? And it's like, dude, you need to go to the source instead of using your very cheap power, by the way, which it is. And because I'm really thinking that most of these things, unless you are being paid and paid handsomely for it, you have no business, you know, wielding, unless it's your own property, you know, unless it's your own YouTube channel, unless it's your own Reddit, right? You get every opportunity to wield that stick any way that you want. But if in these bigger rooms and you're a moderator and you've been a moderator for years and you're wielding around and you're trying to push your weight around, you know, well, I'm a moderator and I could, you know, he was basically telling me what he could do. Well, do it then. Like, you don't like me, do it. You don't have to shame me. You have to make it look like, nobody listens, nobody likes, because that's just a lie. So, and it's the same thing with the whole, using the C word and calling me a troll. Now it's not good enough for them to call me a troll. It's now they have to add the C word to it. And that's just disgusting. And I don't see how that can be okay. But it is. So the best thing that I can do is manage the little bit of property that I do have that I've been able to keep up, and we'll see. I mean, they've done a very good job of getting their way with very little cost to them. I don't have my website. My Twitter's absolutely effed up. I don't have a community. I mean, they've been able to get anything that they want. Yet, here we go. Yet, this is what I provide. Yet, this is my work every day. This is what my work is every day for 10 years. That isn't enough for them. They want something else. They want some sort of head on a platter. And I think that I've delivered everything that they've wanted out of it, and continue to lie and continue to say stupid things about me instead of just looking at themselves. And that's what they need to do. Every time I come on YouTube, I have to make sure that what I'm bringing is the truth of what I see, and make sure that I continue to work on the things that I say that I'm working on. So it's pitiful that I can't show you the Telegram, because the RubyCrossBot, because I can't see how many people are following the posts at all. But I have Chart Chat Connect is over here as a group and as a, they use a megaphone, so it must be announcements. And I don't know about the Telegram. I don't know. I think it's okay, but it's not everything. But I know that the bot, the environment of the bot is really cool. And then, of course, we're trying some things over at Facebook, but I don't talk about the Facebook too much. But that's probably where it'll end up going, is the Facebook. Okay. So here we have the 382. It's surviving. So this is a good sign. Let's get a little close-up of that, if you guys can see. I hope that you saw how I managed the move, right? So on the 15-minute bar, you need to have a decent enough bar. I mean, if you're scalping, you can use the smaller bars, but we'll widen it up a little bit here. But you can see that we really have to stay up and above the 50% mark. So this ledge down, this is okay. It's a little deep. Someone might even call this a J-hook, potentially. I don't know what the math is, but it's potential that this is a J-hook and this is the beginning of another stellar move. So do you guys want me to stay with this as we see it go through? Because I can just keep the window open. Just let me know. You know what I'll do? I'm going to go ahead and pop out the chat again. It's just too hard. Pop out the chat. That way I can There we go. Yeah, and I'm sorry, John, too, that maybe some of the things that have happened. Let me see. What I want to let you know is that as far away as I can get from it, it doesn't stop. You know, and now to hear it coming from another community, from friggin' Ethereum Classic, from their channels, it's like, um, it's just ridiculous, you know. So, and I don't know. I don't know what else to give them. You know, I really don't. So I think it's some sort of a backhanded, back channel illness. It's an epidemic. What do you think about this then? You think it's a J hook? Yeah, look up a J hook. A J hook is where we have the pole position, and then it literally hooks like a J hook or a shepherd's hook. But there's math involved. The hook cannot come through more than, I thought that it was more than 75%, which this particular hook, it's actually survived, but the candle, the pin actually came through further. But we might be able to measure the hook from the cross, meaning from where the first candle was. So, but it's called a J hook. And what a J hook will do is it takes the first explosive move, it dies off, and then literally that die off provides enough energy, pardon me, provides enough energy for there to be a repeat to the upside. It's a pretty clever pattern to play on. Yeah, I put it on the 3-minute. So you think so, huh? Pardon me. Get my water. Sorry, guys. Okie dokes. So yeah, I think the J hook probably was destroyed when it didn't perfect itself there. But it was nice to see the follow through anyway. But once again, lower highs. I always get that wrong. Lower highs. Still in a ruby long though. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that we've just been in an extreme volatility too. I know that you probably noticed how we just haven't had that, clean break off. You can even see here where the 96 and the 12, like that's just way too tight for us not to say, that there's volatility there. Earlier in the broadcast, I was talking about, oh, is that a chart you want me to look at? Okay. Uh-oh, nope, didn't come through. Gonna try again. Trading view chart? Mm-mm. I had the, oh, there's the chat right there. Is that a trading view chart? Well, yeah, I know. I just put it in, but didn't pull up. Let me try it again. Nope. Tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Oh gosh, this pop out chat thing's gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna go back to the regular view. That's how I put it in the URL. Oh, it's a chart? Okay, got it. Oh, you know what it was too, also. Let's see, chart, take all that out. Oh, golly. Oh, sorry, it's a little late for me to be doing this. Just a little late. So we want to get rid of all that. And get rid of all that. And take it from there. And get rid of that. Okay. Okay, so we'll look for it later. Yeah, I just changed it. It's okay. It's all right. This is when Rabbit would help, right? I knew you were trying to get me over to Rabbit. Is that your little? You want me to keep trying? 1010. Okay, let me try it again. Sorry. To figure out this friggin'. I'm going to restore the chat, I think. No, I'm not going to go back and forth. Now you're saying to use an X. No. Okay. Just give me a moment. Okay, let me get the chat back up. Restore the chat. Yeah, it's just too hard to get that chat figured out. I don't know. All right, so now you want me to use an X, huh? See, the reason that I like to have the chat to pop out is because, I mean, I wonder, tells me typing too much. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. And I can't fix that either, by the way. Did it give you that you've said too much? That's not my fault. I should probably wrap it up anyway. That is so funny. Just so that you know, though, it's not me. And you just gave up one of your typing privileges with that emoji. What'd you do that for? I would have really thought about that. You did. I wonder how this would work out. What is it? Oh, it's because Bandit kept me on, really. Really saying, okay, that's enough of you. Or is that our little way of saying that you've taken me live? Hi, everybody, if that's what's going on. Hi. I really was just I was gonna shut it down, but he's really either saying, that's enough for you, it's time to get off, or I've just taken you live over at my channel. I do have to figure out about this chat though, because I can't stand. What I was thinking was that maybe really doesn't do rabbit though. I don't think he does. Plus it's I have to go. I have to be the lady in the room and say goodnight. And I have to be really serious about that too. But I'm afraid that Really's Really could put me through on the playlist. Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. All right. Oh man. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll do my wrap up. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and especially to the replay viewers. Thank you very much for stopping by and being counted. We've been online for 2 hours on the Bitcoin Overnight Viewer Growth Hack Night 3 show. Thank you very much. And also to my great chat, Wes and John and Really. Thank you so much. Leave a comment down below if you want to reach out to me, or you could always contact me over at Twitter. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified as to when I do go live, because you never know, and you never know what I'm going to bring you either. So, okay, I'm going to say goodnight now. Notice how hard this is for me to do. No, but seriously. Okay, it's happening right now. Saying goodnight. I think I better say that more sweetly. Okay, bye everybody. See you next time.